Hi, my name's April, and this is Devlyn. Welcome to my channel that I created called Herp Things, so that I can talk about herp things. Just wild, I know, right? I tried to think of good names for a channel, but all the good names were taken, so then I thought, what's just an awful name? And Herp Things, awful, awful. I love it. Anyway, kind of the main thing I was going to start out with was about Devlyn here. And how can you not just love that little face? Oh, Devlyn. Devlyn, you're beautiful. You're beautiful, Devlyn. You're beautiful. And if you hear her story, which I'll tell you in a little bit, it'll make sense what I'm doing, and that I'm keeping track of what she eats and what she doesn't eat. She's about almost 20 months old now, so it's okay if she has a day where she skips eating. I got her when she was 6 months old. She was rehomed. She needed a new home. She was sick with parasites. She had a history of being sick with parasites and pneumonia that I knew of. And my kind of general idea was because of all the parasites that she had, she must have just felt sick whenever she ate, and her tummy hurt her, so she developed this aversion to eating. And something that I've done I can't really point at this at the same time, is to show what she's eaten and what she hasn't eaten. I got this lime green tab that looks like it's showing up yellow for days she ate salad. Blue with dots, she ate some salad, then her bugs. Lines, bugs before salad. Orange, bugs only. And red, she refused to eat. Alright, so you can tell on Sunday last week, she refused to eat it all. I made her a salad that had arugula, Tuscan kale, okra, and bell pepper on it. She didn't want any of those greens in there. On Monday, she ate her salad first. The salad just had arugula in it. She's been on a real arugula kick lately. She also ate 2 roaches. I tried to offer her a 3rd roach, and she wasn't up to eating a 3rd dubia cockroach. I have my own colony, so the roaches are always gut-loaded. On Tuesday, when she refused to eat, I'd offer her a salad of arugula, radicchio, and bell pepper. Didn't have any of that. Wednesday, she just had salad. I didn't offer her any bugs. Her salad was arugula. She picked out the arugula only. There was also some Tuscan kale and some okra in there, which she ate around. She was just on the arugula. Thursday for her salad, it was arugula and radicchio. She picked out the arugula. You might notice a trend here. On Friday, she had 1 dubia cockroach, but her salad that she ate first had collard greens, bell pepper, and arugula. She ate the arugula. On Saturday, she had 2 hornworms later in the day, and that was kind of risky because she hadn't eaten her salad yet, and that's always a chance of it being a bugs-only day. But she did get those 2 hornworms. Then she ate the arugula out of her salad. There was also collard greens and bell pepper in there. She ate the arugula. So what I thought with sharing how Devlyn eats and doesn't eat her food week by week might be a good example, because that's something that I've looked for online. People share how their bearded dragon eats, and they have guides, and they say just do this, and it's assuming that your bearded dragon's going to eat. Devlyn never got over her real aversion to eating, so it's still this consistent struggle that I have to do day by day, week by week. So you could join me as I figure out how to keep feeding this girl and keep her as healthy as possible. Of course, I take her to the vet. When I first got her, the story behind that is that I'd had various pets throughout my life. It had been years since I had any little Herp friends, and I missed having a little lizard around, and I love bearded dragons. They've just always been my favorite. And I knew that getting a bearded dragon, I wanted to get a bearded dragon that needed to be rehomed because they get sold as a beginner pet, unfortunately. A lot of them need a new home. And my husband, if you can believe it, he went through the world of pets for sale on Craigslist, and he found her. She had been bought by a lady from a kind of like small mom and pop type pet store, probably from a large scale breeder. And when she bought Devlyn, she loved all sorts of animals, but she relied on the pet store to tell her how to take care of Devlyn, which was a big mistake if you don't know. I mean, I think it's unfair to expect people who work in pet stores to be exotic pet experts. They aren't going to know everything about every pet. That's just not fair. But at the same time, the pet stores don't tell you, you need to do a lot of research before getting this animal. They'll just tell you, oh, this is what this company says to buy. So she was in the 40-gallon starter kit by Zoo Med for about a month. But it was pretty clear after they brought Devlyn home that she was showing signs of being sick. She was refusing to eat. She was bought in September of 2018. She was probably hatched at the beginning of August or maybe the very end of July. So in October, she's only 2-3 months old. The first lady took her to a vet who diagnosed her with pneumonia and with pinworms. She also corrected Devlyn's setup, telling the lady you need an enclosure that's at least 4 feet wide. You need these types of heat lamps. You need a tube UVB light. So at least Devlyn was able to be corrected and getting a better enclosure that's meant for a bearded dragon, something with enough UVB. She went from being like only on crickets and parsley to being offered dubia roaches and crickets and mealworms. The lady never told me anything other than parsley and collard greens that she offered Devlyn, but Devlyn still had to be hand-fed every single bite of food. She would not willingly eat. And this was the struggle that continued. And as well at the same time, unfortunately for this lady, her life was devastated by her spouse separating from her, or like they were starting a separation process. I don't know the details, but I'm pretty sure it was not mutual. And this was all at the time she's trying to take care of this very sick little girl here. She also had many other pets. She had 4 children of her own, 4 gigantic dogs that she took care of. And she didn't have the time or money to be able to keep all these pets, so she had been rehoming many of her animals. That's the ad my husband found and then I responded to because I saw that she was just trying to do the best for you there, Devlyn, for you. Do the best for you to get you to someone who was going to spend the time and the money on you. So I spent a couple weeks talking to her. I got Devlyn when she was about 6 months old, February 9th, 2019. And we brought her home. It was like a 1 or 2 hour car ride, and she was packaged up in a box, insulated, because we're in Minnesota and it gets cold here. And after bringing her home, I was able to call the vet that Devlyn first went to, and then I actually got all the details for what medication she'd been on. She had been on Panicure, kind of low dose of 0.01 milliliters for 14 days straight. She was also on an antibiotic Albin for 21 days straight. And the first vet had her on a grapeseed extract to act as an antioxidant during that time for 14 days straight, which is a lot of medication for a baby dragon who wouldn't eat, who was being syringe force-fed her medications any bug, any leaf had to be waved around in her face until she would eat. When I got her, she had been losing weight. When we took her to the vet, we got her reptilian chemistries drawn to see, well, basically to see if there were signs of organ failure, if she was going to make it or not. We didn't see signs of organ failure. All of her heart, liver, kidneys, her red blood cell count was good. Her calcium phosphate ratio was 2.89 to 1, which is actually starting to get a little bit high. You want it closer to 2 to 1. For her white blood cell count, she had a lot of monocytes. About 8% of all of her white blood cells were monocytes, which is indicative of a long-term infection. It took a couple more days before she would poo for me, and we were able to get the sample taken to the vet, and we found out that she had a pretty high count of pinworms. She was only 12 inches long, 186 grams. She dropped down to like 178, 180 grams at the lowest for me. And then I was able to get her back up to 186 grams. But for that first month I had her, she just didn't want to eat. And anything that I got her to eat, it was like waving it in her face until she would eat it. And I would do this multiple times all day long, as much as I could until, 2 to 4 hours before lights out, so she had enough time to digest her food. We started her again on Panicure, and we did a more aggressive treatment of 5 days on, 0.1 milliliters, then 10 days off, and then 5 days on again at the 0.1 milliliters. And then in March of last year, we got you all clear, no parasites. She also had entamoeba cysts initially, and those are usually considered commensal and don't cause any lethargy or any sort of problems with digestion. Those were also cleared out when we got the second sample taken in March. She did it. You did it, Devlyn. And ever since then, I've just continued to struggle to help her learn how to eat. But it's been amazing to watch her go from this sick, lethargic dragon to a dragon that can run and jump and wants to move and explore. She loves moving and exploring on the floor. She really loves going outside. Good job, Devlyn. You should go on the floor. You should go explore again. There you go. She's going to go look out the window and just have a blast. And that's where, I thought, week by week, pull this thing out. I want to show you like how she eats, how she doesn't eat. Almost all of her salad foods, she eats those independently now. I don't need to wave salad in front of her face to have her eat it. She'll eat some of her bugs independently. If they're the tasty hornworms or silkworms, if I put that in front of her, she'll eat them. For roaches, crickets, her more protein, lean insects, she still needs me to kind of like give her the bugs one at a time. And it's something we're working on. I try and give her a chance to run around and chase a bug, but she really hasn't taken me up on that unless it's something like a silkworm or, superworms. Yeah, superworms. She also loves those too. And that's something she'll usually just eat without any sort of assistance. I don't have to wave it in her face. So we've been able to improve a lot, but it's still something that I keep in mind to help her continue to be healthy. So you can come back and join me next week. I'll tell you what she ate and didn't eat again. And that's it. Thank you. I guess subscribe if you want to come back.